I'm Carl Reuter, and welcome to the Stony Brook Sports Report. Time to talk some basketball, women's basketball, that is, with the head coach of Stony Brook Women, and it's Michelle Cherry. And Michelle, when you look at it for the season, a young, not necessarily inexperienced team that you have coming on the floor this year.
Yeah, we're small but mighty. We're inexperienced as far as our youth, but we're experienced in that the kids that are sophomores this year got a lot of playing time last year. So we're pretty excited about that group especially.
All right, no seniors, but you do, as you say, you have some people coming back, 3 returning starters, 8 players who saw some quality time last year. That's got to bode well for this season.
Yeah, it definitely bodes well for the season. You know, we've had a couple of scrimmages, and we've had some people step up and had some good performances. Still have a lot to work on, naturally, this time of year. Everybody does. But definitely going to help us going into especially conference play. Those guys have a lot of playing experience, and things aren't new to them. So it's definitely a positive for us.
All right, before we get to the new players, let's look at some of the old and the team MVP, America East All-Rookie selection. And you've always liked her. Talk about Kirsten Jeter and what she does for this team.
Yeah, she's a warrior. You know, she's the one that leaves it on the floor every night. She plays hard every day. She's one of those that you know, will run through a wall for you. And you know, we definitely are looking to her for some leadership as well as just the things that she brings every night. So I'm real excited about her. She's come back in great shape and ready to go. So she's looking good so far early.
When she left last year, what did you ask her to do in the off-season over the summer months leading up to this season?
One of the things that we really worked with her a lot on is expanding her range, because we want to put her out at the 3 a little bit. We played her inside, and the fact that she's undersized, she got away with it last year. She's not a secret anymore, though, and we're afraid she's going to see a lot more double teams when she's on the block. So we want to bring her away from the basket a little bit more and then utilize her still on the block, but bring her in from the perimeter to do so. So we really wanted to work on a perimeter game, which she's done.
Well, when you have her there, and you also have sophomore Misha Horsey, she started every game at the point last season. Counting on her a lot to distribute this season?
Yeah, we're really counting on her to not only to distribute but to score as well. You know, she didn't look for a shot at all last year, and you know, one of the things that we've worked with her on is we fixed a couple things with her shot, but we worked with her on her decision making. As far as when to shoot and when to pass, and you know, so far she's still a learning process. She's used to being the distributor, but you know, she's starting to figure out that if I don't shoot once in a while, nobody's going to guard me, and I can't be as an effective passer. So you know, the fact that she's working on that stuff, she went to point guard college last summer. I think all that has helped her a lot.
And you really, I guess, it's an important factor, as you said, because if teams know that she's not going to want to shoot and just look to distribute, they'll just slough off and double and triple other players on your team.
Yeah, they back off her and get in the passing lanes. And as a matter of fact, in one of our scrimmages we had, actually, you know, one of the things that she heard the other team yelling is, "Get off her, she won't shoot." And that comes from, you know, the scouts the other team has done based on last year, and so you know, she drained a jumper on their face in her face. So she's starting to realize that, hey, I got to shoot the ball, because what I really want to do is dish. And if people are backed off in those passing lanes and not playing me, I can't pass to anybody. So definitely going to help us if she can score.
All right, you've also added a couple of new players at the guard position. You have a junior transfer in Casey Clockgather and freshman Tamil Murray. What do they add to the program now? Well,
Casey's is a point guard, but she can play the off guard as well. And Casey's just brings a lot of experience. She's played a lot in the last couple of years. Very smart, very heady, very patient player. She'll be good for Misha. I can play the two of them together, but I can also play Casey at the point when Misha comes out of the game. So definitely brings us some experience in the backcourt and just kind of a calmness, you know. And then Tamil, as a freshman, she stepped right in, and she's been great. We were really pleased with her, almost pleasantly surprised in some ways. She can play the one or the two, and she just plays within herself, and she tries to do what we tell her to do, and she's really made a difference on our team already.
What about your freshman 6'1" center? Is there a Destiny with Destiny Jacobs?
You know what? She's another one's been a pleasant surprise. She's been great. I mean, our 2 scrimmages, she's probably been one of our best players. You know, so far not a flash in the pan with her. She's really stepped up, and she's another one similar to Tamil. They really listen and try to do what you tell them, and she's just, you know, neither one of them are mistake players. They just do the right things, and they don't try to do too much, and they've been really a nice fit with our team.
You know, we always seem to, in this game of or the world of sports, you always talk about offense, but defensively, How do you like the setup of the women on your team right now? Because defense is going to win you the games.
Yep.
Defense is going to win you championships.
Well, defense is definitely a key for us, and that's from day one. That's been our focus, and for a number of reasons. But you know, like you said, that's what wins you games down the stretch. But also because of our size, we're going to have to scramble and be creative defensively, and that's one of the things we've been working on. So we're trying to throw some different defenses out there. We're trying to play some different types of defenses, give some different looks on every possession. So it's a little challenging, and we're still learning. And you know, gradually as we go along, we're going to keep adding more and more defensively. But we'll mix things up. We'll do some man presses. We'll do some run and jumps. We'll do some zone presses. We'll kind of change things a lot. But hopefully, you know, it'll bode well for us down the stretch, especially as we get to conference.
Well, let's get to some of those games. And before you get to conference, you got a tough non-conference schedule, including consecutive road games against Michigan State, Penn State, and Princeton.
Yeah, we've got a tough schedule. You know, we start off with Quinnipiac, which, you know, they're no slouch either. They kind of handed it to us last year, so we definitely want to get off to a good start with that one. Then going out to Michigan State and following that up with Penn State. We have a little Big Ten tour there, but both those games on the road, huge challenges for us. Michigan State's obviously always one of those teams that's hanging around the top 25. Penn State is, you know, they're no stranger to that top 25 either. They've had a down year last year, but they're back better than ever. So, you know, definitely a challenge. And then we got to go to, you know, play Princeton. And so definitely tough, you know, early going, but I think that will help us as we get to conference. You know, we want to play a challenging schedule. It's good for our kids to go and travel to some of these places, but, you know, really what we're doing is getting ready for a tough conference schedule.
Michelle, when you look at it this year, you'll be playing in Pritchard Gymnasium while they renovate the new arena. But Pritchard has now been, it's unbelievable what has been done in there. You'll have a new locker room and film room. So what's it going to be like playing in a quaint, tight quarters gymnasium? It's got to be a home court advantage for you.
Yeah, it really is. I love it in there. It's actually a gym. It's not an arena. It's a gym. And it's a great facility for us. It's a more intimate facility for the fans. You can be right on the court. It gets really loud in there. The acoustics are great, especially once we get the band in there. It's going to be really loud, and you know, we're pretty excited. We should have a definite home court advantage for sure.
And it's going to also help recruiting down the road when you get back to the arena. But the fact that you have the new locker room facility, you have the film room, this has got to help when you bring in women in here. Say this is why you should play at Stony Brook.
Yeah, it's already helped. We've had good recruiting season thus far, and you know, it's huge having that locker room and the lounge area for our players. I think our players pretty much live in there when they're not in class, that are at practice. That seems to be where they are. You know, having the film room is huge for us because we do watch a lot of film. So it's definitely an advantage for us to have those facilities, and it's certainly helping with recruiting so far.
All right, on March 8th, after your last game in the America East regular season, where do you think you're going to be standing? If
Well,
you look in that
hopefully,
crystal ball.
yeah, hopefully we're getting ready to have an NCAA tournament selection party. You know, that's the ultimate goal. You know, we want to win the conference tournament and hopefully get that, you know, get that bid to the NCAA tournament. So hopefully that's where we're standing. You know, I think we're going to catch some people by surprise a little bit. You know, our kids are real hungry and fired up. You know, we're still young, still a little small, but you know, they have a lot of heart, and hopefully, you know, we're going to be standing there at the end ready to go to the NCAA tournament.
One last thing, I asked you what some of the players you asked to, you know, do certain things over the summer months. What did Michelle Cherry do over the summer months in preparing for this season?
You know, I spend a lot of time talking to a lot of different coaches. You know, a lot of my colleagues, you know, just kind of throwing ideas, which we do every summer. We're throwing ideas back and forth, asking them about different defenses, different offenses. Okay, what have you done with young teams? What have you done with small teams? Just getting a bunch of ideas, and you know, and then with my staff, put together some offensive and defensive schemes that we think are going to be, you know, best for the team that we have this year. You know, that doesn't mean things won't change as the year goes on, but as so far, what we're putting in seems to be working for us.
Michelle Cherry, it's always fun talking hoops with you. Thanks so much.
Thanks a lot.
That's our show for today. We'll see you next time on the Stony Brook Sports Report.